Alrighty, welcome back to Musical Connections. This is Next to Connect. I'm Zach Snow, and I am so excited to have on the line right now the co-producer of a brand new tribute album to the man of a thousand songs, Ron Hynes, Sonny Don't Go Away. And joining us right now from Nova Scotia, my man, Cory Tetford. Welcome to Musical Connections, buddy.
Thanks for having me, Zach.
And congratulations again on releasing this brand new album, Sonny Don't Go Away. It is absolutely phenomenal. Just an absolute who's who of Newfoundland and Labrador's finest, covering some of Ron's best songs. And really, like, if I were to have a Mount Rushmore of Newfoundland and Labrador performers, Ron Hynes would be at the very top.
Big time. He's the greatest. He's the greatest of us. His ability to write the 3-minute movie, man. You know, you can hear and appreciate Ron's music, but you can also see it. That's the brilliance of his artistry, man.
Absolutely. Now, I just wanted to ask, like, aside from that, how are things in your world right now, Cory?
Amazing. My God, my life is beautiful. I get to play music for a living and produce records and all that fun stuff. I'm a blessed man.
Absolutely. Now, of course, you co-produced Sonny Don't Go Away with the one and the only Alan Doyle. So I just want to go back to that first. How did you and Alan Doyle first meet up?
1994. I was 2 years old. Joking. 1994 we met when I moved to St. John's from central Newfoundland. And Doyle, of course, was at that point, they were just really starting to take off, Great Big Sea. And I think the first time I officially met him was on Queens Road, just outside, and walking up the street. And I went, "Hey, man, you're Alan, right?" And he goes, "Yeah, you're Cory, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, pleasure to meet you, bud." And so we've been friends ever since. And I got to tour as a member of Crush. We opened up for Great Big Sea in the fall of 2002. So we really had a lot of time to hang and bond, and we got lots of stories from those times. And then, of course, fast forward years later, I got to. He asked me to come do. He said, "Hey, man, you want to play one show with me?" It was in February of 2012. I had been off the road at that point for quite some time, just doing a lot of studio stuff. Mm-hmm. And he said, "Yeah, you want to play a song, a show with me?" And I went, "Yeah, sure." Almost 12 years later, we've been touring all over the world together. So,
yeah,
he's a good,
very good guy. And of course, yourself and Alan and the band he's got established back there. Of course, Kendall Carson, an absolutely phenomenal fiddle player. Shahab Ilyas, who's done some video work for Alan Doyle in the past. Todd Lumley and Chris McFarland, who's played with him since the early 2000s when Great Big Sea, expanded her band following the, Daryl Power leaving the band. So you've also played with the man of a thousand songs back during the times where Ron was really at his peak. So how did you meet Ron Hynes?
I got the call. My buddy Byron Party, who was playing bass with Ron at the time. It was Boomer Stamp playing drums, Byron Party playing bass, Paul Kinsman playing keys, and I had been playing with those boys for a year or so at that point, and we had done a lot of backing people up, and we had our own thing called Critical List, which was more of an R&B soul thing. Mm-hmm. We used to play at the Fat Cat all the time. So I got a call from Byron saying, "Hey, dude, Ron wants you to play with him tomorrow night, basically." So he said, "I'm going to come over and drop off a cassette, an extended play, double-sided cassette with a bunch of records and stuff on it." So I got it about 5 o'clock Thursday night, stayed up all night charting out the songs, and probably should have slept more, but went down to the Ship Inn and with all my charts, in a row, hoping to God, a lot of fear, a lot of fear in me at that point. And so we proceeded to play the first set, and because of my charts, I sort of, I studiously learn the songs as best I could, but definitely needed the charts to get through. And so we got through the first set. Ron seemed skeptic. He was a bit of a skeptic, but I think he was relatively pleased. And we went in for the on the set break. And so the whole set, I'm a kid, man. I was 24, 25 maybe.
Wow.
And I'm like, Ron, so do you have a set list for the second set? Oh yeah, I'll get that to you. And the whole set break, I was just sipping on a beer and still pretty nervous, and no set list. So I said to Ron at the very end of the set break, dude, so what do you think? Like, do you have a set list? Oh yeah. I'm going to go out and have a smoke, and when I come back, I'll let you know. Well, the band hit the stage. Ron was still out having a smoke, and he comes back. I said, before the set starts, I'm like, Ron, do you have a set list? For the set? And he turns to Boomer, gives him a wink, and Boomer goes, 1, 2, your. And I can't say the word, of course. And they started into no. He was calling audibles, so whatever he wanted to play, I had no idea. No, because I had these charts, of course. It's a lot easier to play with charts, and I had to wing it. And I tell you, baptism by fire, man. And the amount of fear and adrenaline going through my young body was probably still with me. But yeah, it was a cool evening, and I got to play with him then for about a year and a half, pretty solid. We recorded a record during that time. So that would have been 96, 97, something like that. So yeah, that's how I got to meet Ron Hynes. He sort of, he baptized me by fire. I had to swim in the deep end that night.
But you learned quite a lot from Ron that night too. I mean, when it comes to stage presence and learning how to play with a band, and learning on the fly too, those are lessons you're going to take forever.
100%. Those boys took me under their wing when I moved to St. John's in '94, and getting to play and learn from my idols. Of course, Ron Hynes, Sandy Morris, Glenn Simmons, Paul Boomer Stamp, Paul Kinsman, Byron Party, all those cats. They were older than I was, and I rightfully had no right to play with them. But I don't know how I got in, but they let me in, and I learned a ton. Lessons I'm still drawing on today, man.
That's awesome, Cory. Now, just one question here. What do you remember most from Ron Hynes? Is there a lesson that he taught you that you'll take away for the rest of your life? What do you remember most? So what's going to be his lasting legacy for you?
Well, his lasting legacy for me personally would be different than everybody else that may or may not have known him. Certainly the people that don't know. I mean, he writes about us, where we're from, what we're made of, some of our greatest tragedies. He's written beautiful pieces about, and he's written about our home and about how we, get through our day. So I believe that's his legacy as a performer. But I knew Ron, and so I have more things, that are very personal and very private that I have. And and they will stay so.
That's wonderful.
Private.
That is wonderful, man. Now, out of all the songs that Ron has released over the course of his career, what one is your favorite and why?
Dude, I can't. There's too many. I mean, because I can listen to Ron as a fan, which is odd for me, because oftentimes I listen to music and I hear production, or I hear, that's a cool bass line, or the drums are awesome in that, or great guitar line, or you know what I mean, great vocals.
Yeah.
But when I listen to Ron, the music just sort of takes me out of all that technical crap, and I can experience the music, and it's fresh every time. I mean, and it's all of his music. I mean, of course, there are, the hauntingness of Atlantic Blue is gorgeous, and of course, then you have St. John's Waltz, which is about the place that we walked around when I was a kid, nonstop, up and down the streets, jumping in the bars, playing music, and then more obscure stuff like, the song that I did on the record, Standing in Line, from the record Standing in Line in the Rain, Shines Like Diamonds. I mean, I just love the fact that I can, even when I'm performing the song, I still see, the movie that he had in his mind when he was writing this thing. It's the imagery is so strong that you can see it. Last Chance Avenue, I think the best, movie in song that I've ever heard.
Wow.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think Alan Doyle said this when he was doing press for this album. Like, re-recording Ron songs is like, trying to, like, re-record the Bible. I think I might be wrong on the exact words of it, but, like, trying, do Ron songs is like trying to, rewrite the Bible or something.
He did say that, and yeah, he brought that up when we were recording, and it was like, man, this is heavy stuff. This is Ron Hynes. We have some of the most beautiful artists in Newfoundland coming in with their interpretation of this, and it's heavy, it's thick. It was a weighty project to take on, and certainly to be involved in. But some of the coolest sessions I ever had, man. Like, people would come in, they were excited to be there, they were respectful and humble, full of love. The sessions were full of love for Ron, love for each other, but and an understated love for where we come from and what we do as a musical community.
Yeah, so you started the recording of this when everyone was pretty much just locked up in their houses. So
Yep.
How did this whole project come together? Just dive deeper into how this all started.
It started with Alan Doyle going, I think it's time for us to do a Ron Hynes tribute. And he actually started, he cut 4 songs, like dead in the middle of full-on lockdown. Not full-on lockdown, of course. The Atlantic bubble was a bit, was going on, so the artists could get together, but you had to be careful. They were definitely not locked down in Newfoundland. I mean, I couldn't come in. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So he started cutting 4 songs. Him and Peter Green. Peter was engineering, and of course Doyle producing, and that sort of went on until it was full on lockdown, and then no one could get together and no one could do anything. You weren't allowed out your house. But but then when that opened up, he was talking to Louis, his manager from Sonic Records, and he asked me if I would like to be involved, and I went, yeah. Right. And so then I headed to Newfoundland in February through March of 2021 or 22, maybe 22. I apologize. We hit up this beautiful old building called the Devon House downtown, and myself and Peter Green and Alan went in several days before the first session, and we made that old place into a studio. And it was the coolest thing, man, to see an old building like that transform into, a sonically pleasing room to record music in. It took a lot of pipe and drape, but we got her done.
Nice. Now, of course, some of the names on this record, I mean, yourself, Tim Baker opens up with Leaving on the Evening Tide, Amelia Kern and Dwayne Andrews do a haunting but beautiful version of Dark River. Quote, the Ravens on here, the Ennis Sisters, Fortunate Ones, Mick Davis, and Kelly Loader wraps it all up with Sonny's Dream. So I would imagine when you asked all these people, none of them said no. Was there anyone though that said no to this project, or was it all like, "Yep, this is an amazing project. I'll do this"?
It was impossible to get a no. Everybody jumped at it, man. Everybody was like, "Yes, thanks for asking me." Like, Ron Hynes is a hero. And even to kids that didn't ever meet him, I know talking to, quote, The Raven, they were saying how much they love him and how much they wish they could have had a chance to meet him. But the reverence for the material, everybody knows. Everybody, if you're doing what we do for a living, you know the importance of his songwriting and storytelling, and he's an artist. He was the epitome of an artist. An eccentric dude that just had the ability to touch the creative flow whenever he was ready. And so everybody, when you came into those sessions, you were excited, happy, scared to death.
But yeah, like it's a tremendous album. And the song that you chose to do, of course, you said was from the Standing in the Line of the Rain album. Shine Like Diamonds also have Last Chance Avenue on that album as well. I've played it on VOWR in the past. So why that song in particular, Shines Like Diamonds?
Well, yeah, again, it's from Standing in Line in the Rain. It was a record that I stumbled upon, like I was playing with Ron. We were going to cut a live record at the LSPU Hall over three shows, yeah. And some of the stuff on that actually is live from the LSPU Hall. But then we decided to go in and track the rest of the record at Sandy Morris's studio, and in the what was in the BIS building, and is now converted, I do believe. But it was just a lovely old building that Sandy had set up a beautiful studio in. So we all went in, and I got sat down in the engineering seat. Unbeknownst to me, it was again trial by fire. Those boys don't mind throwing you into deep end, man.
Oh yeah.
And so we just tracked this beautiful record of beautiful Ron Hynes songs. And I remember tracking this Shines Like Diamonds going, man, I love this. There's so many beautiful songs. She Never Will is another haunting, gorgeous thing from that record. I don't even know. I don't think it's on streaming platforms. I hope someone puts it up. Somebody actually, as a gift, one of my clients found a CD of that and sent it to me. So very grateful for that. Thanks, Margaret. The record is, I do, in my humble opinion, it's the greatest Ron Hynes record because he had a band that was invested in the material and Ron and knew him. So it was Boomer Stamp, Byron Party, so Boomer on Paul Boomer Stamp on drums, Byron Party on bass, Paul Kinsman on Hammond B3 piano and accordion. You had Glenn Simmons, Sandy Morris, and myself playing guitars and singing. Myself and Glenn did all the backing vocals. And of course, his nibs, the man himself, sang, and he would stroll in and listen to what we had done that day or that week and sing this beautiful, haunting vocal. He was a character, man. He was a hard case, and we loved him dearly. That record is just a beautiful picture captured in time. And I was very grateful to be involved. And again, like I said, when I heard that song, I saw the song as well as hearing it. So I always wanted to cover it, and I have been covering it for quite some time now. So when Doyle asked, would you like to do a song? I'm like, sure. He said, you want to do Shines Like Diamonds? I'm like, definitely. Yeah. So it was cool to interpret Ron Hynes in the way that I had envisioned it when I started singing it. So it was quite the honor.
That's wonderful. Now, we're going to play that song for our listeners on the Musical Connections podcast right after this conversation. Now, for people who may not be familiar with Ron Hynes, I mean, of course, if people haven't heard Sonny's Dream, I mean, what are they doing? But for people who are not familiar with Ron Hynes, what can they expect on this tribute album?
Well, here's what I want. If they've never heard Ron Hynes, what I want, what I hope is that people, when they listen to this, they listen to it and feel the love and respect that we all have for Ron and how much we cherish what he left us. That's what I hope people get, and I do believe they will. It's a charming record. People really brought, of course, their reverence for Ron, but their own creativity. And some of the versions of these songs, man, are just haunting and gorgeous. And you wouldn't necessarily expect some of them, especially, but all of them are full of love, man. All of them.
That is absolutely wonderful. Now, I'd imagine you're going to be playing some of these songs on your upcoming tour through the Arts and Culture Center starting November 20th in Stephenville, and you're wrapping up November 26th in Labrador West. But you're going to be making a stop here in St. John's at the Arts and Culture Center here November 25th. So, what can people expect from this upcoming tour? Because you're going to be joined by one of your good pals, Crystal Drew.
Yeah, Chris is going to open the show, and then I'm lucky enough, for him to jump on stage with me and the band, and he's going to play some pedal steel and some guitar, electric and acoustic, and sing some harmonies with me. It's going to be basically a bunch of dudes that love playing music getting to do it on stage. It's odd. I've been a professional musician for 31 years now, 32 years, 89 years, I don't know. And this is my first solo tour, which is odd. So
wow.
It's nuts, man. I'm going to be joined, Chris McFarlane is playing drums, who of course I play with Alan and the beautiful, beautiful band. We've been collaborating and doing sessions for years, man. I met him the day before the release of my first record. I met him on October 15th, 1999.
Wow.
We actually roomed together on a gig we were playing for some tourism thing. God, I don't know. It's a long time ago.
Oh yeah.
And PEI. And Ronald J. Hynes, Ron Hynes, is playing bass. He's one of the greatest bass players I've ever had a chance to play with, man, and sweetheart. And so we'll be heading down and then being joined by Chris. So it's going to be a fun night. And yes, I do have a couple of Ron Hynes songs up my sleeve. I'm eager to play them.
And for people who want to find out where you're going to be to next and anything new coming up from Cory Tetford and especially the Sonny Don't Go Away project, where can I go to get all that?
Well, you can, Sonic Records, and I think Alan Doyle, his website, alandoyle.ca. There's links to go listen. You can watch. There's a bunch of videos that they've done for Sonny Don't Go Away. And of course, anywhere streaming, any streaming platform, Sonny Don't Go Away, a tribute to Ron Hynes and various artists. Of course, all 20 artists doing 20 Ron Hynes songs. So you can get it anywhere. You can also buy vinyl, definitely at Fred's, and you can get it online, Sonic Records, and as well, I do believe there's a link on Alan's website, alandoyle.ca. So you can get it anywhere.
And for yourself, where can people find you to find out what you're going to be up to next?
Well, you can all social media. I do have a website, but I handle the website, so I'm too busy doing other things to really keep that up to date. But all my social media, of course, Facebook, Cory Tetford Music. Instagram at Cory Tetford, same thing for X or Twitter or whatever the hell they're calling it these days. Cory Tetford. You can find all of. I'm doing little videos and stuff to sort of prep for the upcoming tour. But I'm heading out across the island. I start in Carbonear actually on the 18th.
Okay.
At the Sheila Nagira theater there. Can't wait to play that. I used to live in Carbonear for a few years when I was just a boy. And then I head to Stephenville, Corner Brook, Gander, then Grand Falls, Windsor. A day off to head to St. John's on the 25th. And then the 26th, I'm in Lab West at the theater, and then fly home for a day, and then I go play with Alan Doyle again. So it's a busy time.
Oh, yeah. And Alan's definitely a guest when you get on this podcast down the road, whenever his schedule allows it, because that dude don't stop.
Oh, my God, man. The man's work ethic. I feel lazy being around him. I don't consider myself a lazy dude. I'm working a lot, but he's either producing a record, recording a record, writing a record, starring in friggin' TV shows and films, writing books, doing backflips, whatever. He does everything.
Have you ever seen Alan do a backflip?
Not personally, but I've imagined it a lot.
Well, listen, Cory, it's been an absolute honor to have you on the Musical Connections podcast and talk about Ron Hynes and especially your tour coming up starting in November. So thanks again for joining me on Next to Connect. All the best with you on this upcoming tour, and congratulations to you, Alan, and the rest of the team involved with Sonny Don't Go Away. I'm certain that Ron would be proud.
I'm certain that Ron would love the fact that we all got together to celebrate him. And Zach, thank you for having me on. I'm very honored. And anytime I can talk about a Ron Hynes thing, give me a call. I love chatting about him, man.